Gloucestershire comfortably batted through the last day of their LV County Championship match in Derby to easily earn a draw, with all of their batsmen making the best of their time in the middle. A superb fight back on the third day had given them a real hope going into the last one. They resumed on 219 for 2 after following on 182 runs behind, and Kane Williamson and Hamish Marshall ensured that the door remained firmly shut to their hosts after they started again on 106 and 32 respectively. Marshall has just begun to find his long-lost form of late, and this shot took him to his second 50 of the season. He certainly appears to have taken on the captain's role really well in the absence of the injured Alex Gidman, and this shot for 3 guided him to his half-century of 124 balls, 5 of which he'd used to find boundaries. The big moment of the important first hour, in which Derbyshire took the second new ball, came 5 minutes later. Tony Palladino was so convinced that Marshall had gotten edge to this delivery that he didn't even bother with the appeal until the umpire failed to raise his finger. Had that been given out, then Derbyshire would have felt that they still had a chance. The lead for Gloucestershire was at 75, and wickets were really needed now. Instead, they had to wait a while longer, perhaps too long, as Williamson continued to flourish. A lot of his shots are close to perfection. Marshall, who missed part of last season with a broken digit, has probably not batted as well as this for some time. This well-timed pull shot brought up the 150 partnership with his young fellow Kiwi. Derbyshire really needed 3 or 4 wickets in the first session to give themselves a real chance. Instead, they had to be happy with just one, that of Williamson, who on 128 made in 5.5 hours, nicked John Clare behind. Marshall didn't let that put him off, and he was still there at lunch with his side past 300 and the lead growing all the time. 20 minutes into the afternoon session, Derbyshire were given renewed hope when Marshall was out for 90. LBW the decision, although the ball from Tim Groeneval did bounce and dart back a lot. It denied Marshall his first ton in 3 years. Had Wes Durston then pulled off a remarkable catch at slip off Tony Palladino, then the result may have been different. The pitch was still offering some assistance to the bowlers if they put their backs into their deliveries. There was still plenty of movement and some considerable bounce from time to time. Gloucestershire went nearly an hour and a half without scoring a single boundary, as they used up the time very well. This then was a very rare moment in the afternoon. Still, with time moving on, the game was certainly heading towards a draw. Wayne Madsen, the Derbyshire captain, started to realise that too, and by the end of the day, we had the rare sight of all 10 outfielders getting a bowl. Nothing could prevent Will Gidman and Ian Cobain from continuing the good work of the top order, however. Cobain matched Williamson, Marshall and Benny Howell by going to his solid 50. He'd valiantly used up 122 balls in getting there and had ensured that this game was drawn with some comfort. By the end, he'd helped his average with a score of 63 not out, while Gidman ended the day on 33. The handshakes came before 5 o'clock, with Gloucestershire producing an outstanding second innings total of 409 for 4 declared. It was one of the better batting displays seen by any team this summer, as only 4 wickets were lost in 145 overs, and one of them fell in the second. For their efforts, Gloucestershire took 7 points, while Derbyshire returned to the top of the second division table after claiming 10 points.